Hi, Giulio. Welcome to
Hi.
the Driven by Data, Beauty by Data interview series. I'm really excited to have you on. Do you want to start a bit about telling us about who you are and a bit about DeepGears?
Absolutely. So first off, thank you for having me. My name is Giulio, and I'm the co-founder of DeepGears. DeepGears is a virtual try-on software that allows users and online shoppers to virtually try on any garment in any size that they would like on a digital avatar of themselves that has their exact body measurements. So we started the company a couple of years ago, just from the classic story of two friends in a garage type of thing. And then we moved on now to having raised our pre-seed fund and now keep growing the company as we speak.
It's very exciting. And do you want to kind of set the scene for me? What exciting ways are you guys using data at the moment?
Absolutely. So we're actually using data in a variety of ways. So first off, the most important thing that we do is we extract a completely new range of data, if you like, which is by essentially biometric data of the users. So we use this data to rebuild their avatars with their exact body measurements as we spoke before. And so this is a completely new way to interact with user, understanding more about the users that buy online for brands. Now, something very interesting also that we do is that we analyze for our brand and for our clients this data and essentially the body shape of people and what they like and they don't like depending on body shape. So we do all sorts of advanced analytics there with AI to understand more trends in terms of how to optimize inventory and what is being produced depending on what is being sold and the kind of fitting that they have on specific users and type of body types, but as well as understanding what are the items that are more sold or most looked at and what doesn't work or what works.
Yeah. No, it's really exciting. And what is kind of the impact that this use of AI is having on the fashion industry and kind of will do within the next 10 years?
I think, so broadly speaking, the impact of AI on fashion is revolutionary. It will extremely and completely change how brands think today and will have to think in the future about how to kind of build a better intersection between fashion and technology. Most of the big brands tend to be very progressive today and they're already thinking ahead, but there is a long tail of, the people that are not, the brands that are not just the luxury brands that will need to get into this thinking to unleash the power of AI. So broadly speaking, the way it's going to impact is it was going to impact in several ways. So number one, it will be a catalyst to better engagement for the users, which is key. Brand engagement and the ability to communicate better the message of the brands, what the brand stands for, is crucial. And so targeting and personalization will be a key theme going on for the next 10 years. There is a big element in terms of sustainability, obviously. So sustainability is so the fashion industry is one of the largest polluters in the world, and it's expected to contribute more than 25% of all the CO2 emissions in 2030, which is mental. And so it's crucial for brands to think about data strategies and strategies in general to optimize this. So starting with inventory management, production optimization, obviously sales and reduction of returns. All of this is levers that can be pulled and where data can be extremely useful for brands. And lastly, to completely change the way that people shop online, right? This is what DeepGears is doing, and this is what the metaverse companies are doing that we partnered with, for example. And this will be the next phase and the next kind of evolution of how we shop online.
No, it's really exciting. I think to be able to go onto a kind of online website and try something on without having to physically go into store is very revolutionary. I think it's really exciting. But I suppose with those benefits, what are the kind of difficulties of implementing that AI into kind of online retail stores?
It's so there is a few complexities. I think you pointed out exactly. I think this is a super exciting time for the industry. I think realistically we are the onset of this revolution that is coming. So since Facebook changed its name to Meta, that has been kind of the initial catalyst that drew the attention of brands to the metaverse, to what we need to do in the next phase, what data do we need to collect, how do we need to interact with this data, how we can analyze this data, what we can extract more than what we do already. So it's super exciting time. But this, as a perennial exciting time, it comes with complexities and challenges. And so just going back to your question, there are a few complexities that I think are existing today and will exist in the future. And we can kind of think about these complexities from two angles. One, which is the more company readiness angle, and the second one is, broadly speaking, technological evolution angle. So starting with the first one, so the company, so the kind of internal, external, if you like. So looking at the internal side of things, big challenge is having a C-level kind of team that understand the impact of AI, what it means, and what needs to be done at a very big strategic level, and what kind of data need to be unleashed there. This is the big one. So having people that are ready and can understand what potential and how the market is going to evolve in the next 5 to 10 to 15 years and beyond. So this is number one, C-level readiness. Then there is obviously an investment side of things. This essentially means, evolving new AI technologies, stay up to date with the research and development, requires budget. That's the reality of things. Requires a lot of budget. And so that budget, it kind of aligns with the first point. It's kind of an evolution from the first point that I just made, but it's very important that there is enough budget and people and companies are not constrained by it in a way, because it will be what will position, it's essentially what positions them today, is investment that is done today to position them well in the next 10 years. And the last one is building up a culture that attracts talent. So attracting talent is one of the biggest challenges that any business has, broadly speaking, in any field. But obviously, because fashion tends to be a very creative industry, tends to be a very, specifically suited to a certain type of people and persona and character, people and companies need to build a culture that allows also another kind of set of people to come in and allow them to work on interesting projects and things that are interesting. And so that's, I think, on an inside company level is kind of the key three areas and challenges. Looking instead on the external side of things is the evolution of technology. And this is a market-wide kind of constraint and challenge, which means how quickly can the market evolve and how quickly the new technologies can evolve that can be then implemented for the right use cases.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. In terms of the right culture, how do you go about building the right culture to attract the right talent for what you are looking for?
That's a super interesting question. So what does it mean to build culture, right? We can start on a very philosophical level, if you like. What does it mean to build culture? For me, build culture is what are those activities and way of behaving that are common inside the company. That's what culture is to me. So it means what is the common shared belief and shared values that everybody needs to have to an extent or another. And so that's how you build kind of cultural fit and alignment. And I think if we look at the kind of a lower dimension, so how do you build culture? Then it's specific for a data team, an AI team. What it means is to have projects that are challenging for those people. So people working in the field are great minds that need to work on interesting projects and interesting challenges. This is obviously one of the key aspects, broadly speaking. So you build it with that, so giving interesting work. You build in giving understanding what it means for those people that are potentially used to work in certain settings to align those settings that are used to work on with a potentially different company setting that fashion brand might have. And last but not least, which always also is a challenge to that, kind of coming up with a budget for talent hiring that is right to attract them and retain them also.
I think it's so difficult in our industry because obviously the talent can be quite expensive. So attracting the right talent, having the culture to kind of retain them and keep them there and keep it within your budget is all kind of challenges that we face. In terms of when it comes to retaining the talent that you've attracted in, how do you go about that?
So it kind of aligns with building a culture that works, right? If you build a strong culture where people enjoy working in a given setting and environment, then it's what retains talent. So obviously there is the economical component, the economics which needs to work. You can't be the one offering 50, 60% lower the market price because you may attract talent for a year and then people need to pay their bills and they're going to be like, well, actually that doesn't really work for me. So that's obviously one. So I think if we want to hypothetically think on a level playing field where the economics is taken care of, then how do you retain talent then? That's the real interesting question. And I think to me it's about two things. So number one, especially for the young startups like us, is kind of having a company that is in the right trajectory of growth, which is exciting, but also being part of a team. So first of all, be a part of a company which is exciting, in an interesting mission. Second, being in a team that works and in a team where people are happy. And the third, which is last but not least, having again interesting job. If you really do something that you feel is pushing the boundaries, I think is what allow people to stick with it. So building up on our example, we were the first one in the market to build a completely programmatic and kind of automatic way to fit the garments on top of avatars in 3D in a completely procedural way. And so this has been a project that allowed us to attract and retain the best talents because it's just something that was never done. And it's generally something extremely interesting that has potential application across a variety of dimensions, from cinema to obviously fashion, which is what we're doing, to completely, kind of outside scheme of things in terms of digital fashion, runaways, digital projects that can all be done with this new technology.
No, 100%. It's a really exciting idea, and I'm so pleased I got the chance to chat with you today. But thank you so much for your time, Giulio. And it
was a pleasure.
Share your knowledge with everyone.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure being here.